Good evening, everyone. We're trying this again. Welcome to Honest Hour. Tonight I'll be having the Big 3-Man Talk podcast on here. So we're going to get them right in the room and we're going to go from there. Hope everyone's enjoying their Sunday, enjoying their evening, and just living life, being positive, being the best that they can be. So we're going to wait for our guest and we're going to get started. That's what it's gonna be. But like I said, I hope everyone's having a good day, a good time, just enjoying life, staying positive, happy. And that's what I'm here to do. Spread positivity, spread light, so should I get our guests back in here? Jeez. The sports world is wild right now. The NBA with this free agency. Let's see something here. All right. All right. All right. You can see me now.
I can see you now, brother. That's exactly what it was. That
All
had to be
right.
because I
Okay.
definitely
Now we're cooking with gas here. It
love
took a
it.
little minute, but we got to it.
That's
All right. How you gentlemen doing this evening?
interesting. Feeling great.
Feeling great. Everyone's doing well. Can see you outside enjoying what looks to be beautiful weather there.
Beautiful out here.
It's beautiful here. See now it was raining all day up here, but on and off. But now we're here. The sun's coming out, which probably means it's like 105 outside with the humidity. But we're gonna get started. We're gonna jump right into it. I want to thank both of you for coming on to the podcast to be a part of it, and I'm definitely looking forward to talking to you gentlemen this evening. So, what I want to know first thing is obviously there's three of you, one not on screen this evening, but I want to know what is the background of you guys like becoming friends.
The background of us all becoming friends. Oh man, I'll make it short and quick. I've known Thomas, aka TC, since I want to say maybe about 12 or 13 years old,
Okay. Yep.
and I hear a lot of noise and distortion and stuff.
A lot of noise.
Yeah, a lot of background noise or something. But yeah, like I say, I've known TC since I was about 12, 13 years old. He obviously he's a little older than me. We met through a mutual friend, elementary school friend, where that's how our relationship began. And then later on down the line, he introduced me to one of his friends that he went to middle school and high school with, which is a fellow named James. James is related to wordplay Reese, and when James came into the fold and got cool with us all, he brought his little cousin in eventually. We all used to hang out, play basketball together. all types of shit like that. And all these years later, here we are, one big conglomerate.
Man, man.
Really nothing for me to say. Covered it all.
So I'm under the assumption that all three of you gentlemen are from Detroit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as
Okay.
you know, Thomas lives in Atlanta
Yes.
currently. Hmm.
Yes, he relocated. So tell me about your experiences about growing up in Detroit because you hear nothing but horror stories about Detroit. Nothing but horror stories. But what's the truth? Is it really as bad as they say it is? And what were your experiences like, each of you growing up there?
Uh, but I went first on the last one, so I'll let Wordplay chime in on this one
Oh,
first.
okay.
So for me, um, I would say that yes and no. Like every city can be bad, right? There, it's violent, but it's pretty cool for me. I survived.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's a lot of different things that happen throughout the city. It's crazy stuff, but that's everywhere though, right?
That could be anywhere. It could be in the suburbs.
Absolutely. So
Okay, okay. What about you, R&B?
Well, I love my city. Growing up in Detroit, I feel like you learn a lot of grit. At least the era of Detroit that I grew up in, you learned a lot of grit. You learn how to hustle. You learn how to make a way. You know what I'm saying? It was a good time, I say. Yeah, you had your areas, you had your bad times, just like wordplay said, anywhere, it can be like that. But for the most part, man, Detroit is a beautiful city. You know what I'm saying? Especially nowadays, it's on the comeback. They're building a lot. They're building a lot in our downtown area. All
yeah,
new lofts and apartments and stuff. They're building up, making it beautiful. Downtown didn't look like it does now when I was growing up. When I was growing up, it was kind of a ghost town. It had already had its height that it's trying to reach again now. Before my birth and from my birth on was kind of like the ghost town era of downtown, like just a lot of abandoned buildings, vacant buildings, stuff like that. But they're revitalizing it and bringing it back, man. And like I say, it's a beautiful city. I love my city. I love where I'm from. But just like anywhere, it does have its hassles.
Right.
Motherfuckers be on bullshit here and there. You know how I go. But it
Well,
happens everywhere.
of course. So,
you,
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that the history here is really great too. Like, you know, uh, when a person come to, I used to say things like, "Why would anybody come to Detroit?" But there's plenty of reasons to come to Detroit. If you into history, music, things like that, the city is rich with talent too. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of places, but this city is rich with talent.
Wow.
Seriously, you got a lot of singers that came from here. Look, Motown is not like it's crazy. It's like right there. So
Yeah, yeah. That they call it the Motor City for a lot of reasons.
Yeah,
And
Motown and the Big Three.
yeah, and so okay, so it wasn't bad for you. So what kind of things did you gentlemen do growing up? To kind of, I'm sure that kind of negative stuff can find you. But what were some of the hobbies that you did to that you were interested in, and then maybe that also might have kept you away from those getting into the wrong crowds in a city that's notoriously known for not being a great city, at least from a perspective of myself, or someone who doesn't live there.
Um, for me personally, what I would say, having a strong backbone, the way that I did, a strong backbone of a mother. You know what I'm saying? My mom was a strong woman. She did the best she could, raising me and my other sibling as a single mom. But she always believed in, being firm and having values and morals, and she taught that. So that she installed that in me. I did end up getting mixed in with the wrong crowds. I have done uh, jail stints and stuff like that. I'm not proud of any of that stuff, but I learned from it and I bounced back, and now I'm on the path that I'm on now. That I've been on since my bounce back from that. So I always say that I could have been a lot worse, and if it wasn't for the things that she did install in me growing up, I probably would have been a lot worse. So, but Detroit was fun, man. I had a lot of friends. I was always heavily involved in music and singing. That was always my thing, my passion. And, hey, look, that's why they call me R&B,
Yeah.
baby. So, like that's my thing. Shit, man. It was what it was. It was bullies. It was friends. It was girls. It was a normal childhood. It's not like it is today where and that's not to say that Detroit is just this horror story, but it's a little bit worse today. Motherfuckers a little more fearful to walk certain places, do certain things, be certain places
Right.
because this younger generation is a little on the ignorant side, but for the most part, when I grew up, man, we used to catch the bus to the mall on the weekends, go to the movies. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, play basketball, play football. You know what I'm saying? All types of little outings with each other as friends and stuff. Like we had a good time. It was a normal upbringing. We fought, we loved each other. Whatever we played with each other. It was normal.
Yeah, nothing crazy. What about for you, wordplay?
So for me, like I didn't die. Well, early off, I indulged in the things I shouldn't have. So I'm not proud to say that either. But later on, I took in basketball. So like sports was like a big thing for me at a certain point in time. Um, so most of my days went to that. That occupied my mind. That and music. So I really love music. I feel like that's me, right?
Of course.
I feel like all of us are notes, music, like musical notes and everything like that. But um, those are some of the things that I did to like steer me away from that type of life. The path that I would no one would want to go on, that steered me away from that because it kept my brain occupied.
Hmm.
Like I didn't want to like instead of going out and like getting with the crowd and doing those different things, I use my mind to
Hmm.
create. So thank God for that, right? And my family too.
Absolutely.
Family, because without that, then kind of lost. If your family is janky, you lost for real. I mean, you're not
Yeah,
really lost. But it's make it a lot harder for you. You need
definitely make it a lot harder.
family, friends. Yes, like all of this is because of that. Like everything is the purpose of life. I think is family, love,
Mhm.
connection. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's deep right there. I can appreciate that. I
Hmm.
just had to get some background stuff. But before we get into the actual interview about the show,
Hmm.
because I feel like this could direct us way further than I'm ready for. I don't know if either of you have watched the show, but I do a game called Honest Picks. So I'm gonna give you two things, and you're gonna choose between them. I have two topics. You both brought up music, which is why this is a good segue. So the
Hmm.
first segue or the first topic is going to be hip hop artist, and then hence the second will be R&B artist.
Ooh, I usually suck at these type of games.
Oh yeah, and my goal in this game is to make you upset. I had my guest last week like in tears. She like
Okay.
didn't know what to do. So I'm gonna start it off with the hip hop side. I got to start with the generic one.
Hmm.
Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Biggie.
Okay. Jay Z or Nas?
I'm gonna say Jay Z. That's hard.
I wish there was some context to this, but
Oh
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and say Jay Z.
well, really, it's just personal preference. Which one would you prefer? If
Nah,
you top to bottom, not so much who's
nah,
better. Your preference of who?
yeah, nah.
Method Man or Ghostface Killer?
Give me meth.
You look over there looking stressed.
I'm going with Ghostface.
Okay, okay. DMX or Eminem?
DMX.
Mm, DMX.
Okay, okay. Ice Cube or Snoop Dogg?
Why?
I plead the fifth.
Why are you doing this?
I plead the
Why?
fifth.
What you say? R&B?
I plead the fifth.
Can we do that? We can
You
plead the fifth.
you can say both, or you can say you can't choose.
Both, because I like Ice Cube and Snoop.
Facts.
I'm not major fans of theirs, but I like both of them very equally.
Okay,
I am a fan, you know.
okay, okay. I can mess with that. Big Daddy Kane or KRS One?
KRS One,
I'm gonna go Big Daddy Kane.
Okay. Rakim or LL Cool J?
Rock him.
LL,
LL's fucking. He's fucking fire, but I'm going Rock him.
Most Def or Common?
Most Def.
Most Def or Common? You said?
Or Common, yep.
Definitely Most Def.
I like
Andre,
Common though.
yeah, Common. He's about him and Pete Rock are about to
I
drop
love Common
some
though.
heat. They're about to drop some heat on the 12. Uh, Andre 3000 or Black Thought?
Ooh,
Both. Easy.
yeah, both. That's a both.
Man.
J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
Both.
Both.
Both?
Yeah,
Jadakiss or Fab?
both.
Both.
Jada Kiss or Fab?
Jadakiss or Fab?
Bad. Both.
Okay. Now we're gonna go over to the R&B side. Neo or Usher?
Both.
Usher.
I'm cheating.
You going with both too?
I'm going with both.
Brandy or Monica?
Monica.
Brandy.
Curtis Mayfield or Otis Redding?
Otis Redding.
Otis.
Smokey Robinson or Lionel Richie?
Smokey.
Smokey.
Al Green or Marvin Gaye?
Marvin Gaye.
Both.
You said both.
Absolutely.
Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles?
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
You talking about
He just said personal preference, like who you know.
huh?
It's a
Who you prefer? Yeah,
personal
it's just who
preference.
you prefer. You look stressed.
Cause I'm thinking about this specific song, Georgia, like in a couple. So I'm gonna say both again.
Okay. Donnell Jones or Music Soul Child?
Both.
Both. You're not gonna do that to me.
Facts.
All
I am
right.
stressed.
All right. The last four, you can't say both.
Ah.
Both nope. You
That's
can't
tough.
say both to the last four.
Okay. Okay.
Mary J. Blige or Mariah Carey?
Mary J.
Mariah Carey.
Musically only, R. Kelly or Chris Brown.
R.
Chris
Kelly.
Brown. Sorry, I gotta say
All right,
Chris.
here it goes. The two everyone hate the most: Whitney Houston or Aretha Franklin.
Whitney.
It's just like,
Why do I have to choose between those two?
This game not that hard for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Whitney, but this kind of hard for me because Aretha got hit after hit. Like I love songs, change, change, change. You feel me? Yeah, Aretha.
Aretha.
You feel me?
Okay,
It's so many other songs too. So and her voice is beautiful, but
and
Whitney Houston is oh my god, bro, like angelic to a whole nother degree. So,
I'll just
Whitney.
say it like this for my opinion. Aretha Franklin is one of the greatest female voices of all time.
absolutely.
Whitney Houston is the voice.
That's true. I'm not even gonna hold you. That's absolutely true. I'm going Whitney
Whitney.
for
Okay,
sure.
and this is the last one. All the marbles. Michael Jackson or Prince.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. I fuck with Prince. Don't get me wrong, but
I
if I
fuck
had to
with
choose
Prince
between the
big
two, I'm
time.
going Michael.
I'm going Michael.
That was a really good game.
Yeah,
That was really good.
a lot of people like it. A lot of people like it. Because the thing is, when you get into, like, I could do it. Sometimes I do it different ways. But being that this is the first time I've had two guests on, and I know, like, with two guests, it's gonna be a little bit of a slower paced show. So each guest has a chance to answer. I kind of just did personal preference, and kept it going. I had one guy on. He was giving me answers why. So, and we were so stuck on it so long that I had to skip a few.
Yeah, I ain't want to get into the whole debate. I ain't because we definitely would be going back and forth for a minute.
Yeah, yeah, we couldn't get technical. There wasn't much time for technical, you know. But I'm glad y'all enjoyed that game. So,
Minnie Whippleton.
oh yeah, she's dope too, though. Can't even lie.
Oh yeah, she's dope. It's a lot of dope. It's a lot of good dope artists. Definitely. That's why it's
Absolutely,
always so hard to choose or remember certain people and stuff like that. But yeah, he's definitely one of them.
absolutely. So, back to the interview. We're gonna go now into how we're gonna go now into the podcast. I want to know, when did the three of you gentlemen decide that you wanted to do a show? You know, what sparked the idea?
Uh, so, one second. All right. So the Big 3 Man Talk podcast, how this ideal came into fruition. Um, as you know, we're all gamers. You know what I'm saying? From your interaction with us coming on our podcast and everything like that,
Yeah,
we got to chop it up. We're gamers, right? So we'd be in the PS5 and we'd be in the PSN lobby, I should say, in like parties and stuff like that. And this is going all the way back to like shit, probably a year and a half or so before COVID, so we're talking maybe like 2018, early 2019 or so, somewhere up in there, where we would be, on the game and we'd be just chatting, just having discussions about all types of different things, you know what I'm saying? Worldwide topics from women, relationships, politics, religion, music, movies, so on and so forth. We would just have all these great discussions, man. And even when we would get together, you know what I'm saying? Like say we get together and we're watching a fight pay per view or the Super Bowl or some playoff games, whatever the case may be, just getting together, camaraderie with the fellas, you know what I'm saying? We have all these great debates and great discussions about all these same topics. And then you have the newcomers, you know what I'm saying? People who weren't necessarily already fitted into the crew, but you know what I'm saying, they might know me or they might know Reese, or they might know Thomas, or so on and so forth. And they, if they're cool enough, they get the invite to come hang out. But they don't know it's like that, so they're more so observers than participators. So you get them sitting back on more than one occasion. You have people that'll be like, "Man, it's hilarious," or "It's so fucking entertaining when y'all debate sports, or when y'all debate music, and or when y'all talk about women and relationships." Like, I love to, it's entertaining to me. Like, I could watch this. I would pay to watch this shit. And so, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, it started to, become an idea where we started kind of talking about it. It was like a talk style. We would discuss it, and
Okay.
we'd always say like, man, maybe we should start a podcast or something one day. And then boom, here come COVID. You know what I'm saying? Everybody at home, and during COVID, that's when the podcast really just kind of like really popped. It had already been, popular a little bit there, before COVID, but it seemed like after COVID, like it just really popped. Like all these different people started coming with all these different podcasts
Yeah.
about, mainly about relationships and all this man versus woman stuff. And we would see a lot of these reels and a lot of these different meme movies and different things like that that were hot topic discussions where, we would bring it back amongst each other, not purposely, just, hey man, we might be playing 2K and somebody be like, man, y'all see that dumbass video, such and such, and
Yeah.
now we having a whole conversation about it. And again, what I'm saying, you have people like, man, we need to start a podcast. We need to get this shit going. Like we need to, if people telling us they enjoy watching us talk or listen to us talk, or that they would pay to, what I'm saying, listen to us talk, we must be pretty entertaining guys. Like
Yeah.
people tell us we funny, so on and so forth. So eventually, Thomas started doing something with a lady friend of his where they started doing like a Facebook Live type of thing. They invited me on. We had a pretty good, successful live a couple times, and eventually I became like a regular staple. We added another young lady, and we started doing like a weekly live set on Facebook, and it didn't last too long. A couple things went awry, and we just kind of rebranded, Thomas and myself, and we got together and we was like, who could be a good third piece to this
Right.
puzzle? And that's where wordplay kind of came into play because, we started to have a lot of conversations with him, where he would, give good perspective, good points, and all these different types of things, where we felt like he could give good perspective to join us, in this podcast thing. And that's kind of how it came into fruition right there. Like it just kind of bubbled. And, ever since then, we've been working together, trying to grind. You know what I'm saying? It's mainly myself and Thomas. Wordplay is more so our featured resident guest because he's multi talented and works on a multitude of different things, including photography and music and stuff like that. So it's hard for us to get them all the time, but we normally have them about 95% of the time.
Okay.
And we just been grinding since then, man. Just trying to make a name for ourselves and trying to see if we can come up because we feel like we got things to talk about as men. You know what I'm saying? That are vital to our culture and vital to our society, and that men want to hear these things and want to hear other men talk about these things and hear other men's perspective. And that's just kind of how it came about, man.
Wow. You got what you got to add to that wordplay?
Well, like you said, everything he said is factually sound. Also, like for me, and I figured out that these guys had the same type of vision I had. Like when it came to this, like I want to help people. Like you'll be surprised at how many men lack the information. And how can you grow thyself if you don't know thyself or anything, right? Like you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, yo, like I was out, like in public, and I'm noticing it's certain people who don't know, like it's just certain things that they just don't know. And like, all right, I ain't gonna bash him, but if it's a lot of those people like that, is because I thought certain things like, all right, everyone knows this, but not everyone do. So um, my purpose is like to help people, you know, and you can't help nobody if you don't deliver the truth to them direct. Like you have to deliver the truth, you know. Sometimes you find different ways, and but that's what we like to do. We like to help people. So if we can tell a bunch of people to get their minds and how to do it and different things like that, you can come on top of the world for real. You can be very successful in whatever area you choose. So
Okay, okay. So so now that's very powerful stuff because
yeah,
you guys touch the topics that many people don't want to touch, you
Yeah.
know. But before I get into go down that road, I want to know what is what how did the name for the show come about? How did you choose that name?
Well, initially, when it was just Thomas and myself, we were calling it man talk because that's kind of what the base. That's what the base of this was like. Hey, man talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a dude has a man cave in his crib and the fellas come over, y'all drinking, maybe smoking a little something like I like to do, watching the
Okay.
game, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You have men talk, right? And we all know what men talk can sound like. It's men. So um, that was the base of it. And then when we brought wordplay into the fold, we were just kind of like brainstorming, trying to think of like what could we really name it to, what I'm saying, be metaphorically represent us, but also represent the city and also represent what we trying to do. And that's where the big three came in. Like you said earlier, the big three automotive. You got Ford, GM, Chrysler, all here, city of Detroit. You got Motown, you know what I'm saying, the Motor City. So you got big three, man talk, podcast, and it's three of us. And boom, there you go.
Okay. Okay. And wordplay as someone who kind of came in a little later, and someone who also but still definitely has a lot to bring to the table. What was your input on what was your input or else were you bringing to the table that could help them, especially considering this was going to be the name moving forward?
you said what was the input?
Yeah, like what input did you have, or what were you bringing to the table to them to help push this narrative for them, with the name?
Um, there's a couple ideas like I like the big three part. I'm like, all right, like that they already had men talk, so
Right.
I'm like let's add big three to it too. I think that's how
Okay.
that came about. Ain't that's how that came about, bro?
What's that?
I think big three came about because you already had men talk, correct?
Yeah, the big three came about once we added you.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, we the big three, like so it's like that. Three different motors, so you know,
Okay. So it's kind of like a car. One, like a
absolutely,
motor. Without a timing belt, without your coils, you're not
absolutely.
going to run. You're not going to be able to run and function the right way. You know.
Hmm. Right.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I was reading the comments. I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
you good. You good. He's saying Wes Warren saying that you came up with it. Reach the big three part.
Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely collaboratively had your input. You guys are friends. You
Yep.
did you were able to collectively put this together.
Come on, come by. I'm using this real quick.
So if you had to say, hold on, lost myself in my notes here. Do. What is the concept of the show? That if you had to explain it, to someone who hadn't seen it, what is the concept of your podcast about? The topics you
Uh,
discuss.
Yep.
I'll say this. For one, we like to entertain. Um, we also like to have real discussions. Uh, the goal purpose of what we're trying to do with our podcast is we wanted to create a venting space for men where men could come and have unfiltered adult manly conversations about things that they feel in society, from relationships to religion to politics to everything I named earlier to modern women, whatever you want to get into. We wanted to be able to have a space where we could come and talk about these things freely the way we wanted to, you know what I'm saying, and be unfiltered with it. And because we felt like it's a lot of podcasts out here and it's a lot of, podcasts that try to keep it real and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's a lot of podcasts that water they shit down. You know what I'm saying? They'll only talk about some real shit in the fakest way possible. If you get what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
Right.
So we want to talk about real shit and be real while talking about real shit and come from a real place and perspective and have the conversations that men want to have. Like talk about things that men want to talk about. And that's kind of the goal right there is to have these conversations again, like just get stuff off your chest. You know what I'm saying? The high rate of depression with our people as a whole, but we focus on the men. The high rate of suicide with men. You know what I'm saying? Of men always being told that if we talk about certain things or we feel ways about certain things, then we're gay or we're sassy or whatever the case may be. That we
We
always supposed to just hold it in and we want to rid all that. Like, no, this is a space to come and have conversations. But we also get into a multitude of things like, bringing on musical artists and talking to them about their work and what they're trying to do in their projects and stuff like that. We like to interview people and have conversations. Like, so we, it's a, the goal base was always kind of like manly driven, but we are here to try to, help whoever we can help with the best advice that we can offer. And shit, not only offer advice, we're here to get advice too and take in advice. We're here to have
Yep.
conversations.
Right, and before wordplay goes, I just want to let everyone in the audience know that third man who's on this show is in the audience. I just want to make his comments known in the conversation because he is commenting. He says to inform, entertain, and educate, talking about anything from a man's perspective, and a safe space for men to express their opinions and emotions. So he threw that in the comments. So wordplay, what is your intake of the same question? That piggybacking off what TC and R&B said from your
I mean,
perspective.
it's really the same thing, but from my perspective, it's like I said, to help people, honestly, and like they said, being able to express how you feel, because a lot of the times you would see it was a point in time where men didn't have the platform where they could like do this, or in general, men didn't have that outlet, so we was like, fuck it, let's why not, help
Yeah.
us. So
So really you want to create a safe space for men, primarily. I mean, anyone can join, but primarily for men to be able to open up and say what it is they're feeling, or say what it is they have to say without that fear of judgment, without that fear of criticism, without that fear of being told they're weak, or they can't do it, or they can't live up to par, because that's something we all deal with, especially brown and black skinned men. And it's something I take very seriously, in my own right, so I can definitely appreciate the concept behind behind the show. Now, I've been on your show, and wordplay, I want you to take this question first. I said, you guys take a different approach with your topics and the way you carry your show? What caused you guys or had you guys decide to take that approach? Because a lot of the topics that you discuss are topics that get that canceled word thrown out there.
Okay, that's a good question. So we like going against the grain, right? So, um, and you have to be different. You have to be different. So, uh, a lot of the times, like, of course, we'll be brainstorming different things, and it's like, all right, well, this is obviously this seems like it, so we just go with it. It's more so like being different, staying different, trying to stay as different as possible, so we have value to the market, right? And
Yeah.
like not only having value to the market, we also have to connect with the people as well. So the people who need us the most, right? So it's one of those things.
Okay. Okay. What do you got to add to it, R&B?
State that question one more time for me.
So, would you guys take a different approach to your show? The
Hmm.
topics you talk about are ones that really throw the cancel word around. Why would do you take such a different approach with the show, considering that's what can happen?
Well, I'll say this: the world can try to cancel you all they want, but the world can't cancel you. The only person that can cancel you is the man above, the Most High, and that's how I look at it, and that's how I approach things. Um, shit, it's just like one of them things where we don't care what people think, because you can't always care about what people think. Sometimes you have to do what you know is right, and you have to stick with your truth. And either you gonna stick with your truth and stand in it, or you just gonna be a melting pot and you be all over the place. And that's the way you become weak, you know. And I don't, we all can have weak moments, but as men, if we're gonna be up here and represent something and talk about something, then we have to, walk it like we talk it. Doesn't mean we're gonna be, 100% perfect, because we're not, but we still have to walk it like we talk it. And I think that starts with how we approach, how we do things with this podcast. We want to have the real conversation, and we don't want to water it down to make it sound good, because we're not here to care about people's feelings.
Yeah.
It's time, and that's how I see it. It's time out for that. You can't always care about people's feelings. You just gotta go with what you know, and stand in your truth.
Absolutely.
Or if you don't, you become somebody's number or somebody's casualty.
Hmm.
Two things that I get is, when we've spoken about this before, but one of my big inspirations is Cam and Mace, because
Hmm.
these two guys, Cameron said he invested $250,000, created this studio, created this atmosphere. These two go on, and now they make millions of dollars off of this show. These
Hmm.
two took a bet on themselves, and guess what? They the same way they act in reality and in their music is the same way they act on that show,
Yep.
and they're paid millions of dollars to be who they are.
Exactly. Not
And
faking the funk about shit.
nope, just say it. I mean, like, even like, and like saying it the way it is, just like for one thing that Cam said that stands out was when they were talking about Fat Joe, and he was like, Cam's got that deep, distinctive voice. He was like, yeah, Fat Joe's talking about he liked dick from Kansas. He's saying he liked dick from a certain city. Like, and he was just being who he was.
Hmm.
And then the other thing that I would add to that is, Paul Heyman was inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And at the end of that speech, he said they can't cancel you. Nobody can cancel you. Only you can cancel you. So you guys have found a way to get to reinvent something, or not even reinvent, to invent something that really not a lot of people are doing. And if
Mm-hmm.
they are doing it, it doesn't get looked at because people like to look at the shows with the negativity. They like to look at the shows with the BS. Like they like, that's what sells. So for you to take another step and to go and say, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to do it this way. We're going to uplift one another. We're going to uplift positivity. We're going to show that this is what's important. You guys are off to a really strong start. I see the following you have. I see a lot of the stuff like you've been doing. And, I could say what you're doing is going to make a difference. You just have to stay consistent, and you're going to get to wherever you want to go. It
I appreciate
seems like,
that, man.
of course, of course. Now, it seems like you guys have been doing this for a while, but when did you guys start the podcast as Man Talk? And then when did you start it as the Big Three?
We started it as Man Talk. I think that might have been around like 2000 and somewhere in around about 22, I want to say. And then we started representing it as the Big Three Man Talk podcast about a year, close to about a year ago, maybe a year and some change.
Okay, okay. And now, so you really haven't been doing it that long.
No, not yet. Not yet. Nope.
You really haven't been doing it that long. So obviously, obviously growth is big. Real quick, TC said we truly want to change the narrative and social to influence to speak the truth and wake up our people. So obviously you want growth, right? And
Hmm.
finding growth and growing is big in many ways because over time we grow as people, we grow as individuals, and there's three of you, so you grow collectively.
Hmm.
So what kind of growth are you looking for to push forward with the show? Well, in any way, shape, or form, whether it's, monetary, whether it's, just different topics within the show. Well, what's the growth you guys are looking for?
I'll take it first.
Yeah, yeah, if you want to go words, Lego, go for it.
Oh, damn. Can y'all hear me?
Oh, you said, no, like, I was just waiting for whomever wanted to go. I heard you say, "Can you hear
My
me?"
my my audio is my audio acting up a little bit. Well, it's real distorted for some reason.
We can hear you though right now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. Whomever wants to take the question first. No worries.
Uh, damn man, I didn't miss the damn question. With all that shit going on.
No, no, you good. So I was saying how growth is important. And how do you want the show to grow? Where do you see the growth? What direction do you want the growth to go? Whether that's growth
Um,
within the show itself, whether you're looking to get onto like a network or to radio, like what's the growth you hope to see with what you're doing?
I would love to get on like network or radio or something like that. Definitely, but I'll be honest. Um, like you said earlier with this whole cancel culture thing, what we're trying to do, I don't see that maybe in the cards for us, possibly. Who knows? But I just don't see that maybe. Um, but I ain't gonna front and say that I don't wanna work no more. I
Yeah.
definitely want to monetize this thing. I want to monetize and try to make money, just like everybody else want to monetize and make money for the most part. That's trying to do it, but I do want to help though. It is not all about the monetization. I do want to help people. I want to be able to see people in my society and my culture start to have successful families
Absolutely.
and relationships again. You know, I want to see young girls grow up to be virtuous women. I want to see young men grow up to be successful and virtuous and God fearing and law abiding men. You know, it's that's a part of what the culture that we're trying to reach to and give a word to and give advice to and hear them back and you know have that space for them to talk as well. Like I want to see that. I want to see all of these different types of things. I want to see my society start to grow and come together
Most
instead of so much
definitely.
violence and just ignorance. Just violence and ignorance all over the place. It's just ridiculous, man. And it's time out for that shit. It's time for us to really, as men, step up and start trying to, I said, have these conversations, bring awareness to all of these different things, whether it's societal issues or relationships, whatever. I just want to see things start to change for my motherfucking people. That's the ultimate goal over anything. To try to reach souls
Absolutely.
and help souls grow and turn and be better. To be honest with you,
Yep.
if I can turn a few sexy reds into some hers or dare I say some Alicia Keys, like,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know.
You, what you got to add to it? Wordplay.
It's honestly, it's I'm a humanitarian. I would consider myself. So it's like I think we all fall in under that category. We want to help people. So my biggest goal, well, with this, my biggest goal is to actually reach the lives, like he said, to kind of. I can't change anybody, but I can like contribute towards someone's altering, right? So
Hmm.
and that's what I want. In a perfect world, like there's a lot of people who's one with themselves, as in love. They're not sabotaging it. And trust me, we got so much stuff that we have to talk. Where we're going to. Oh man, just stay tuned, bro. I'm telling you. But the world needs that. It needs to be more of a unity type of thing. Well, I'm not. It's okay. I'll be getting lost into that. But what I will say is this: that's my goal. Same as theirs. We all have the same collective goal in mind. So yeah.
Well, and I'm just I can I respect both of that, both of what you said. But R&B, real quick, I
Hmm.
got a side question based off your response. You said to me, based on your topics, you don't see yourself being able to be on a network or anything of that nature. Why not? Because there are other ways to get there's other ways to get your message out now without radio, without TV, and it's actually quicker due to the fact of people have cell phones. People can go onto YouTube. A lot of times, even I do the sports show. A lot of the topics that I find, they come right on my phone. I go on to YouTube and watch the clips. I used to be able to watch First Take in its entirety, or First Things First or something. But now I don't have the time. So now I just go and I just get the clips of the important parts or the big things that happen, kind of get their ideas. So I just want to put a little positive spin on it that you may not be able to get to that goal the traditional way. There's always a
Hmm.
way to get there, my brother. There's always a way to
Okay.
get
I hear
there.
you.
Because and
Absolutely.
that's the thing. You have to find another door sometimes. Radio, they don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear this. They're not ready for this. But guess
That's
what?
what I'm
This is
saying. Yeah,
It's just,
they don't want to hear the truth.
but you know what? Millions of people have XM radio or Sirius radio. These are you could get on one of those channels, and get
That would be dope though.
you
And
know.
that's more fitting for the style of talks that we like to have, that we like to do. Because quick sidebar,
Go,
part
yo. This
part
is
of
listen. This is
part of
this
how.
is not. It's not just a an interview. This is a conversation.
Okay,
Like I
okay,
want that to be clear. I make that clear, and maybe I didn't say it. I want that to be clear to all my guests. This is a conversation.
for
We're
sure,
getting to
for
know
sure.
each other better, And if you got something you got to say, go ahead. Same thing. Wordplay. You got something to add that's not within the confinement to the interview. It's a conversation as well. So go ahead.
Most
Hey,
definitely.
only thing I was gonna say, man, is that you know, I want to be able to sit down and have them conversations freely, where I can say, look, if you dress a certain way in public, you a hoe, and take it for how the fuck it is.
Right.
Yo, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But you know what I'm saying? But you gotta take it for how it is because you chose to put that shit on. Just like if we
Absolutely.
look at a dude and say, man, look, if if you a thief, you a thief, or if you can't be trusted, you can't be trusted.
Absolutely.
Again, the feelings, this PC era that we live in, I absolutely hate it. I'm not saying that people should just be able to go around and just spew hatred for people for no
Of course.
reason and stuff like that. But what happened to tradition and order? And those are the things that I want to be able to highlight and talk about. You know what I'm saying? Tradition, order, virtuism, like women being women, men being men.
Absolutely. And you see, that's the thing is those topics are important. But I had a thought not too long ago. I brought it up to a friend, and you let me know what you think. We always want to be picked up by networks and these websites, and we want to be heard, right? But what would stop if you could get enough people together, right? What would stop us as a collective, of people? Why couldn't we start our own? Start something that belongs to us, and then create our own freedom to do what it is. It ain't easy, but it's a conversation that people need to have or need
Yeah,
to at least think about. Because listen, I get ideas all through my head. Like I get an idea,
Same.
I write it down. Like for example, I came up with an idea in mid interview with a guest. I came up with a music review podcast interview. And guess what I did?
Mm.
I made a logo, I gave it a name, and guess what? We're trying to air the first episode this Saturday. You know, so I just want to say that, obviously it takes a lot of capital and time to do those things, but we can, you know, the other thing is we as our people, we don't work together, bro. We don't.
not well,
Not at
not
all.
well.
Everyone is so selfish, and I'm going to tell you, like the Asians, they work together. The whites, they work together. The Hasidics, they obviously work together. And even like the Turkish people and the Indian people, like there's a guy over here near where I live. He has multiple. He bought a gas station, right? The guy who owned it before him did everything but couldn't get the license for the beer, the cigarettes, and the lotto. So he didn't open it. New York is mad strict with that stuff. So he never opened, but he bought everything. Like all he needed was that license, and he's good. This guy bought it and flipped it, got rid of everything in there, and then was able to make it very profitable in like a month. And then
Mm.
he bought the one up the street, split his customers. Then he bought the one around the corner. He owns two on the other side of town. He owns one 2 towns away. He bought land in the middle of the town, built a whole strip mall, built a gas station. Then one next to one of the busiest gas stations in town, right up the street, he built another one with a full service deli. And then he owns like three that aren't even in this town. So, and he's Turkish, and guess what? He just puts all his family members in there. They all make money. They all they monopolize in a sense. They just bought. We bought one, and he just flipped, flip, flip, flip. We could do the same thing. It's just we just would have to be smart about it. It's just I just wish, and not everyone thinks like the way I think. Because why sit at someone else's table when you can build your own?
Hmm. I hear you. I hear you. But this the key thing though. Not only do we have to be smart about it, we have to understand the value that goes into it too. See, they understand the value of family. They even understand the value of their own kind and friendships. Because when their friendships that are family, they really value it and treat it like family. You wouldn't know anything different. They understand that in those other cultures. It's something missing from our cultures where we don't. Even the cultures that I
I
consider
think I know.
my cultures have that understanding over the black people. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? We always looking to stab each other in the back, want to be in control, the power trips, or just hard headed, not loyal. It that's what makes it hard for us. That's what makes it hard for us to be able to, you know what I'm saying, do stuff together. It's generational curses and stuff that are
Yeah,
on us that we have not, done the due diligence to try to get these curses off of us. You know what I'm saying? And it starts and with some deep stuff that I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. But one day we had we had to have a different type of conversation and we can get into some real shit of why we are the way we are. But that's what makes it hard. But I'm not saying that black people can't work together because there are some successful black owned
absolutely.
businesses and stuff like that. But I bet you that there probably a lot of turmoil, probably not ran as well as other companies that are the same, that are ran by other nationalities or whatever. Yeah, high drama. You know what I'm saying? It's always something with us, man. So
right.
we just gotta
It's
be able to come and have these conversations and self reflect and be self accountable as a people.
yep,
I want wordplay to get into this. I know you.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Wordplay. Yeah, we kind of had a back and
Oh.
forth. I didn't want you to think we
No,
left you out there.
no,
So look,
no.
I just want to get your definite input on this conversation as well.
Is it?
Circling there.
Hey, like prayer
There
and
it is.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go. Hey,
prayer.
you might have to start back over wordplay because you was kind of buffering there for a second.
Okay, what about now?
we can hear
We
you.
can hear
Okay.
you.
All right, so I think someone said prayer, and yeah, prayer does help, but I think it's more than just prayer, because like how they say with you got faith without works is dead. So the same way with prayer, like prayer without work is dead. So now that you know that you have prayer, what else do you need to do to make it actually manifest and be a thing? I think that, and this is just my opinion, I think that people are not being raised properly, and that's no shit to the person who's raising them, but in a way it is. So the thing is that if they're not given proper tools, right? If you don't teach a person how to, you actually got to tell a person family matters and show them through your actions. You can't just say it and then not show it. But if you show it and you're, because kids are sponges, so if you constantly showing the kid, now are there some kids that go a different route? Yes, absolutely. But kids are still sponges. And as a parent, you want to be the best version of yourself. Or even if you're not the best, the best version of yourself at the current moment, you want to be, you want to act like a leader, because when you're leading that child. So it starts there. It starts with what people are being fed. Their core values is made from that, right? What they're being fed every day. It's their diet, right? It's what they eat. And it's not only what they eat, it's what they consume entirely. So that is what leads people to be like betrayal and to be like I can't work with this niggas. I'm the top dog, you know. And it's a lot of other factors too that play into it. Like, you know, you take one of those people who already who weren't taught how to have good character. Those same people, they might be poor, so they tired of being poor. They have bad character and they're tired of being poor. They're gonna do all kind of shit just to get to where they need to get to. You know what I'm trying to say? So
Mhm.
it's a combination of things that if we do if more of us do a combination of things, it's definitely gonna change. It start with, you know how they say it start with us. It start with us and
Hmm.
our
Let's start with
children.
the man.
Yes, our children is a result of us, literally. So that's where it starts. When we raise our children properly and give them all the tools that we possibly can, and they still fuck up and go down route, which is not gonna fucking happen, right? If you're doing everything to the T, it may happen. I don't know. It may happen. Life is life because you need that in order to grow too, right?
Absolutely.
But that's my extended answer. I don't want to be long winded, but
No, it's okay. It's a conversation.
Hey,
yeah,
I see a comment, Mike, that I kind of wanted to respond to a couple of the comments on here. Where I
Okay.
see so I see Kiana. She was saying, I think that's where Reese was kind of responding to her comment about prayer, and then she was saying believe also. And I see another comment by brother, was that Malcolm. He said you need to work in harmony with your prayers. That's it right there. That's
Mhm.
that. That's what you, Kiana. That's what you got to understand. That's what wordplay getting into is deeper than just prayer and believe. That's all. That's all. That's where. That's a big part of why our people so thrown off out here, and why we can't get nothing right because we still on the same
absolutely,
old ass, tired, made up, brainwashed bullshit that they've been telling us for centuries. And our grandparents, our parents, great grandparents, and so on and so forth, same shit. Just pray and believe. No, that is not all it is to it. You have to work in harmony with your prayers, as Malcolm says. You have to put work in. You can't just pray and go back to doing the same shit and believe that something is gonna change and that he's gonna, just something's gonna just miraculously happen at the snap of a finger or some shit like that. You have to put the work in. You have to maintain the engine to the vehicle because if you don't get those oil changes, if you don't get those routine checkups, if you don't get those tire rotations and stuff like that, what happened? That vehicle dies. So you got to put some work in behind those prayers, or else they just go on falling ears. It's not heard,
absolutely,
which is things that we talk about on the Man Talk podcast.
A lot of that, you got to have substance in what you're doing and what you're saying.
Hmm.
If you don't put, it's kind of like therapy, right? Like people, or people go to therapy but don't understand they got to do the work in order for therapy to work. Or it's like, or you people, everyone want to go get a paycheck, but nobody wants to work. It's the same thing. It goes along the same path. And I think for people, they need to get better. You know, one of the comments is prayer without work is dead. And people just want to like pray and just hope that everything changes in their favor. And it doesn't work that way.
I don't.
It don't even remotely work that way.
It make you feel good, but it don't work.
Yeah, so like we got to get away from that because you have to, anything you want to do in this life, you got to work for it.
Hmm.
Unless you like Blue Ivy, you just like was born into it. You know, like she was born into it.
And
He's destined for greatness.
and, but that's another thing though. She might have been born into it with advantages and all of that stuff like
She
that,
still
but
got to work.
she still gotta work. She still
Absolutely.
gotta put the work in because they can't just parade her out here just because she Blue Ivy and expect everybody to accept her. Because one thing about how this shit works, if people don't think you good, they're not gonna accept you.
Well,
Facts.
that's like
And,
people forget Jay-Z and Beyonce have a son. He's not mentioned much, and I know part of it's due to his life choices. That I read he wants to be a woman in a sense. So, but you don't see him out here. You see the other one. I heard the other one's name, the other girl's name. That's a twin. You see her out there with Blue Ivy working, dancing with their
yeah.
mom on tour. So you're right.
When it comes to skill, like it's just all across the board. Like whether you're given opportunity or not, you said, you still got to work, and like you said, you got to work because what happened with skill, like you'll lose it. Like you'll fuck around and lose it, get really rusty, and then like any business, everybody else, somebody. There's plenty of people, right? There's plenty of people who's doing Kobe like work, waking up and practicing at intervals, right? Like 2 hours every from 4 in the morning, but you get the point. There's plenty of people putting in that type of work. Those people are gonna pass the people up who's not working. So it's like if you choose not to work, you a fool. So you have to work to constantly expand yourself. So great, because like greatness is an endless marathon. So it's like you constantly have to keep working. You ain't made it, and like yeah, you made it, but it ain't it. Like this ain't over with. You gotta stay there. You gotta maintain everything. So that takes a lot of work. I think I'm not there yet. I'm not as successful as I want, but I think and maybe my opinion may change later once I arrive. But I think that it's even harder to maintain it than it is to get there. It's hard. It's challenging. I should say, not hard. It's challenging to get there, but it's even more challenging to maintain it.
Mhm.
Well, because once you're there, it's how do you stay there?
Yep.
It's kind of like if you win the championship in your perspective sport. Obviously, you want to win every year, but that ain't gonna happen.
Right.
But it's just at that point is how do you at least stay like the Celtics? The Celtics won the NBA championship this year, right? Now,
Yeah.
obviously, their goal next season is to get back to the NBA championship. But if they
Right,
or to win it again, but if they can't do that, it's how do we stay at least to get back to the finals or get back to the Eastern Conference Finals? We want to stay relevant and stay in the mix. And it's the same thing with life. Once you achieve your goal or your goals, it's like, okay, how do I keep this momentum going?
right.
Mm.
You and I
Yep.
think that's that's something that people have to do. They got to really think about that.
Yep.
So I
It's
have a
worth it
very
though.
absolutely. So I have a very, very, very unique question.
Hmm.
I had to put my head to work because I needed
I
a
love
unique
these type of questions.
question. I so right now, how do each of you bring your personality and unique diversity to your podcast?
Hmm.
Um, that's simple for me. I just come and be me. This is who I am 24/7. Yeah, not always iced out or whatever the case may be, but I mean, this is me though. I like chains. I like glasses. I like jewelry. I like to be dripped out, shit like that. That's me. I come and I be 100% authentic. Like I'm no faking the funk. You ain't gonna see me talking about one thing on the podcast, but living in a different way than what I talk about on the podcast, or the things that I did stand firm on when it comes to relationships, simping, whatever the case may be. I, 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 I'm 10 toes down on who I am, man. Like that. That's my uniqueness. That's my authenticity that I bring. You know, that's my personality, being real and being firm. Mamba mindset, man. I'm a Kobe guy, man. I'm no nonsense. I'm all about trying to get to it, and I'm all about the business and completing the job. No simping, no babying.
Okay, okay. What about you, wordplay? He's buffering again.
It always buffer on his reply.
That's crazy. This thing doesn't like me. All right. All right. So for me, like, of course, I be myself as well. Um, the thing about me is I'm like, I would consider myself a humanitarian. I'm like open as hell, like, because I'm not the finished version myself yet. So I'm
Yeah.
constantly working as well. So it's like I'm expanding. And with expansion, I have to intake certain things. You got to have discernment to what you intake and what not to. So I bring that level. You're gonna see it's not one thing of me. It's like it's not one. It's like sometimes I'm like harsh in a way. So I guess, but then like you have this like part of me that's like but I, I just bring I don't want to say a soft side, but like a more of a soft. There's a soft side of me, like an open one to help side. There's me myself is like the mind thing. I love to play on words. I love the I don't know, man. Like, you know.
Okay.
That's a good question though. You kind of tripped me up with that one a little bit. Just a little.
Yeah, TC says I bring gracefulness, humbleness, and understanding of others. I try to make people really think about things, deep thinking. But
That's a good answer.
that is, and but it's that's the idea here, to really just kind of bring everything out, of them bring kind of stump people. That's I had to dig deep. So I got two more topics that I want to discuss with you gentlemen. And then I end my shows with a positive ending message where you'll both get something to say. Positive from you guys to whoever's watching this and who may ever watch this back. Now,
Hmm.
the first thing is, being that both of you gentlemen are from Detroit, I can't assume, but I'm gonna believe that you both are fans of Eminem to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now, a few months back, um, I'm sure you're both familiar with Dr. Umar. He
Hmm.
had some controversial things to say about Eminem. Now, he believes, and he said out loud, that he believes that Eminem cannot do this music better than our people. That because he's white, that he can't be the best or one of the best at hip hop music. Now, we all know over years Eminem has faced a lot of scrutiny for many things. Obviously the picket signs, and for his rhymes back in the day. And then you move forward to mediocrity in a few of his albums, and just people don't want to really accept who he is in a
Hmm.
sense. So, do you believe that line of thinking that Eminem can't be the best or one of the best is true? And what are your thoughts on Eminem and his impact in hip hop music?
The
Um,
line of Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say that I don't. Oh shit! Damn, shit that fell over on me and shit. Hold on, let me set my stuff back. Let me set myself back up. But I would say that man, I think that that's not true. That Eminem can't be one of the greats. I think he can be one of the greats. But I do understand why he said that and what the logic is behind it. It's basically all he's saying is that you know the whites support their own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you go look up, not saying that black people didn't listen to Eminem, but I guarantee if you could research the percentages on what race, bought majority of his albums during his tenure of being like, one of the top dudes in the game, I would guarantee that it's white suburbia, that bought a lot of that stuff. Again, not saying that black people didn't listen to Eminem because we did. I listened to Eminem.
Right.
But I also, listen to other artists, and I used to kind of listen to Eminem, and kind of it got to a point to where I started feeling like I don't know what the fuck this dude is talking about anymore. He rhyming and putting words together, but this shit just sound like a bunch of bullshit and jokes and playful shit,
Right.
and it just got tuned out for me. So, but he was still selling because he's Eminem, because white people are gonna support their own. So, I think that's kind of the logic that he was probably coming from with it, but I don't agree with the notion that he can't be one of the greats because I mean he's dope. He's dope as fuck.
Right. And he didn't say that, but he didn't need to say that.
I,
It,
I think
Dang, what were we gonna say? Wordplay?
that like much like he's saying, I don't agree with that either about uh basically how I took it. My basically he's saying because he's white, he can't be that only black people can do that because they're seasoned, And I hear that, but to be honest, there's a person who sounds just as black than anything. His name is Logic, right?
Uh huh.
Absolutely amazing. If you didn't look at any of his pictures or know who he is, like, and you just heard him, then he sounds black. So
But
I think that when it comes to this life thing, we all have equal, even though it's damn, because we all have 24 hours. So in my 24 hours, I can be whatever the fuck I want to be, no matter if I'm white, black, green, or orange. And if I choose to be one of the greatest rappers alive and accept it on any side, then that's possible. So, now I don't agree with what Buddy's saying with that. That's just my take on it.
well,
That the only that part,
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what many people don't know is Logic is actually half black.
Oh, see,
He
I didn't
is.
know that. Damn
He's
it, you got
actually
me
half
cooked.
black. I remember on the album, oh God, the one that had the suicide song, the 1-800 number. I don't remember all the
Mm.
numbers, but a- on that album, he was saying nigga, and a lot of people were like, "Yo, like you need to chill." And he had an interview where he explained that his dad is black. He just don't have any of the melanin in his skin.
Right.
Like he just looks
Hey,
like a white dude.
I got a
And
question for you too when you're done. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, no worries. So that's that's why that's something people may know. But as for Eminem, I do believe that Eminem's a student of the game. That
Mm-hmm.
Eminem has done the work to be embedded as one of the best rappers. Um, he's not personally in my top 10 of rappers, but he's definitely in my top 20. If I had to name 20 rappers, I would put him in there for me personally. But I don't agree with that notion either. He tried to retract it after because I'm sure he didn't want Eminem to get a microphone and talk about him and destroy his life. So he did fix it after, but I don't agree with that notion either. What was your question, wordplay?
So it's a pretty bizarre question. It's just based on some stuff that just came to mind. Um, is would you say that a black woman a melanated woman created everything? Meaning, she created white. Would you say that's true or false?
I don't know if I could really answer that because honestly, I don't know fully what I believe how the start of humanity began. You
Mm-hmm.
know, People talk about Adam and Eve and the apple and all that, but who's to say that happened? who's to say that's what it is? Um, so that one, I would have to put some thought into that, but I can't fully answer that without information behind that. You know what I'm
Got you.
saying? Or
Got
even just really putting a thought into it, or just or really researching like what or figuring out what I believe is the start of all humanity, because it wasn't just blacks and whites. All humanity started somehow. It's just the question of
Yeah.
how.
Absolutely.
So that's a good question. That's one I'm gonna have to like research, and I'll definitely get back to you if I have an answer. Once I get an answer on that, that's
Okay.
something I'll definitely want to research and discuss.
If the answer comes back to a black melanated woman, which I'm pretty sure it is, if it comes back from as that, then in a way, white people has some black in them.
Oh,
It
there's
just
no doubt about it. They don't want to
yeah.
admit it, but
Hmm.
they are living off the backs of us, whether they want to or not,
Yep.
Oh
whether they
yeah.
want to believe it or not. They are living off of our backs for sure, 110%. So, my last topic is a little bit of one that's outside the box.
Okay.
Something I usually don't do, but I would like both of your intakes. The year is 2024. We know what that means, right? In November, we're going to have an election. Now, I don't know if you gentlemen caught any of the debate the other night, but I can tell you from what I caught, it was a hot disaster. Not even a mess, a disaster. I want to know what your thoughts are on this presidential race and who's the better candidate. Because we can only pick
Whew.
from what we got. One of them's going to win.
So I'm gonna say that I think the presidency
Harvey.
candidacy shit is all full of shit. That's just me, my opinion.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
say it's full of fucking shit, and they know it. Um, I don't. You're choosing, from my opinion, you're choosing two poisons. Like, what's the greater poison here? Both of them are still poisonous, right?
Yeah.
But which poison would you choose? Shit, that's very difficult to answer because I personally don't know either one of them. But I'm gonna say something that's ignorant. I'm gonna say I don't give a shit. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm just being honest. I personally don't give a shit about which one wins because it's still gonna be fucked up either way it go. That's just my whole thought process now. If I had to choose between who, I'm gonna say I'm in favor of Donald Trump in a way. Why? Right? Because at least he's kind of honest about things. While these people are fucking just holding it underneath them, and they're just like putting it under the rug until they die. You know what I mean? Like even when they die, it's never gonna be revealed. So maybe my answer change one day, but that's where it stands right now.
Fair point. R&B.
Uh, you got me on this one, man. I damn near plead the fifth. I don't. I'm not a fan of voting. I don't vote. I believe the polls is potent. Um, I watched it. It was hilarious. It was a disaster. I mean, old Joe really do look like old Joe. Because a
It's rough.
couple of them bombs that Donald Trump dropped, he was over there.
Oh,
I'm, I'm like, damn,
man,
like
that man,
just,
he couldn't put a sentence together. Like he couldn't do
Donald Trump told
nothing.
me I can't even understand what he just said. I don't even think he know what he just said. At least Donald Trump still got some of his cognitive, skills and mindset and stuff. Like
Absolutely.
Joe Biden look like he owns some shit or something.
Yeah, he can't even walk up a pair of stairs or read a teleprompter.
The man is. You know, he probably hasn't done what Donald, not saying excusing him, but he probably hasn't done what Donald Trump has done to, people don't understand that. This is what I think, right? I think that when you get to a certain age, or in general, you have to work on your brain, your cognitive abilities, and constantly strengthen them. Donald Trump might have, you never know, because it don't seem like, like y'all said, it doesn't seem like Biden is, he forgets a lot. I mean, people forget shit all the time, but the rated how he do, ah man.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting and it's dynamic in a sense. But I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump's gonna win this election.
Yeah.
And he gonna come back and he gonna do everything he did in his first 4 years. The American people will be happy as a whole, because Sleepy Joe, he just ain't it. And we know he ain't
No,
it.
no,
So now
yeah, that ain't it, man. Neither one of them is it, but it is what it is.
gotta
What
pick the greater
what can we
of
do?
two evils if you do vote. So I wanna say thank you both for coming on the show. It was an honor and a privilege to sit down and have this conversation. But right now, I want you both to give all your handles to where they can find you, where they can find the show, and when you come on and find everything about you guys.
So, at Big 3Man Talk Podcast streams live every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means we'll be getting ready to stream in about an hour. Not if you're on the Eastern Time Zone. You can find us once again at Big 3Man Talk Podcast. That's available on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find me, R&B, at RANDB_87. That's my IG. If you want to check out some of my TikTok shit, at RNB 2687. That's RANDB. Man, those are my handles. I like to play around. I like to make funny videos, voiceovers. I like to have real conversations. I like to do music. I'm just I like to do a lot of shit, and I'm trying to entertain and get paid.
Absolutely, absolutely. Go ahead, wordplay.
For me, there's two places you can find me at. You can find me here. This is where my poetry and music will be dropped. You can also find me on Hub Spatials. Um, all right, so something about that. You barely gonna be able to find me there now. I'm transitioning over here, so this is where you'll be able to find me. Wordplay Reese, and Wordplay Reese. If you want the TikTok, it'll be BR Visions. You'll know it's me because it's gonna say it's a dot on there. Yeah, that's me. That's where you're gonna find most of my photography, and I got some special stuff that I'm bringing over towards that way as well. So you'll see. It'll be great. So if y'all check out the TikTok BR Visions, of course, you check out that. Follow and stay tuned.
And the other guest or the other man who's on the podcast with them, who's been in the comments the whole show. Shout out to TC. You can find him on Facebook, Thomas the Realist Croft, or on IG, West Warren 83. Now, last part, my favorite part. I'd like everyone to do, both of you gentlemen, to do a positive ending message. Say it could be about this show, it could be about life, it could be anything. For anyone who's watching this or who can watch this back, the floor is yours.
Um, Me, I'll just say, to all my men out there, I'm gonna make my message for the men. Never believe that you're not enough. Never believe that you can't conquer the things in life that you want to conquer. Never believe that you can't be great. Never believe that you are not royalty. And that's, I'm gonna leave it at that, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. Just always believe in yourself. Never believe in negativity. Always believe in yourself and believe that you can be great and go far. You just got to put the hustle to it and put the grind to it. Have the mindset to do it. Don't let nothing get in your way. Don't let nothing slow you down. And grind. Put your mouth money where your mouth is. Put the grind to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what what about you, wordplay?
Um, yeah, pretty much the same thing. I know I can't. It's like after someone has said something, pretty much all the same stuff that you'll leave the people. It's like, yeah, pretty much the same stuff. And I would also say that,
I left mine
stay
to the
open,
men.
man. Huh?
I said I left my
Oh,
message to the men.
so mine's is for both men and women.
Okay.
Um, uh, um, First, when I would say that connection is what matters, love and relationship really, really matter. So work on you to build a better you. And first, like someone has said, sit to yourself. And when you're sitting with yourself, that's when all the best stuff comes out. So like you don't race and don't be like looking at everyone else's life and like saying you're not there yet. Just do your own work and don't focus on them. Don't compare yourself, okay? Get off of IG for a minute. If you don't have anything that you should be posting for to build your business, get off IG. You know what I'm saying? Get off of it and build yourself, because if you don't build you, if the spirit ain't right, if it ain't right, you not gonna be able to do anything. I don't give a fuck what it is. So it's like you always gonna be at war with yourself. So get you right first, because remember, we were not all of us, but we were crippled as a child, and now we're adults and we have to work to get that shit off of us. We can't run anymore from it. We have to work. So you got to go and seek the tools, the proper tools, in order to build that. It's exhausting, but it's life is exhausting. Greatness is exhausting. So if you want to be great, like he said, constantly work, grind, stay consistent, and that is very challenging, I know, but stay consistent. And yeah, work on spirit, mind, and everything. Watch how far you go. Just watch how far you go. That's all that I would say. And oh, one more thing.
Go ahead.
Stop treat huh?
Oh no, I said go ahead.
Oh, I would say that because people, it seems like empathy is like really, really low, and people do not give a fuck about like connecting with anybody. They'll fuck people over and then be like, oh well, my opportunity still is there, the door is still there for me, or maybe another door. Sometimes shit don't come back like that, especially for people who's constantly fucking up. Like sometimes the water runs dry. So please be open to that idea as well, that you want to like, don't be so fast to do things, but just know that fucking do shit with better intentions. That's all.
I can't say better. I want to thank you both for coming on. It was an honor. It was a privilege. It was a great conversation, a great vibe. I hope we can do it again, whether it's on your show or on here. But check them out. The Big 3 Man Talk podcast. It comes on in about an hour. So they did this show for an hour and a half, and now they're gonna go set up for theirs. So that's R&B. That's Wordplay Reese. I'm Mike Williams. I'll be back here on IG Live tomorrow, Nerd Camp Sports. That will be at 6 p.m. Big NBA talk, free agency. And then on Wednesday, we'll have my regular rendition of Honest Hour, which will be have Rapping Frizzy on here. We're going to talk about everything that he's got going on. To you brothers, peace and love. And we will see you guys on the flip side.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.